What is going on, everyone? How are we doing today? Today is April 14th, 2026, and today I'm going to be going over the one trade I took, a continuation long, absolutely smack TP, great day. It is currently 9:15 p.m. I know it's very late. I'm sorry about the late upload. I'm going to keep this short, simple, straight to the point. Had a super busy day today, so I'm sorry about that once again. But other than that, let's get right into it. All right, so coming into the day, what am I looking for? I'm looking for my daily buys, and we are on the hourly time frame. Literally, as you can see, we are just incredibly bullish. We are printing upwards with absolutely no signs of us reversing down or any bearish movement whatsoever. Let me actually go in replay mode here. All right, perfect. So this is pre-market. This is the 8 a.m. candle. And what am I doing? I'm just marking out my major gaps, my major key targets, key levels. And what do we have right here? We have a 1 hour fair value gap that we're bouncing off of. And we also have a 4 hour fair value gap right under us. And these are the main two draws what I'm looking for, right? I want to see price either tap back into this hourly fair value gap, or I want to see price tap back, come all the way down into this 4 hour and take us up to the 830 high. Now, this 830 high was our major buy side liquidity for the day. Um, this is just an obvious target, right? If we're looking at the 1 minute, the 5 minute, we have that 830 data high that we are looking to target. So we did create that 1 hour fair value gap. And what do I want to see at market open? I want to see price either tap back into this 1 hour, take it to this buy side liquidity, or I want to see us go down to this 4 hour and take it up, right? If we do end up opening higher, I would love to see us come up here and either take shorts off of this data high, maybe back to the 1 hour, or if we ended up manipulating all the way up and then creating a bearish fair value gap, retapping into it and then coming down, that was an option. However, just looking at the higher time frames, I really did not want to take shorts. As you can see, we are literally only printing upwards. We have no sign of any bearish structure or order flow whatsoever. So it makes absolutely no sense for us to look for shorts in this situation, and we are going to have a much higher probability and looking for longs. All right, so this is 929, and right here we are tapping into this hourly fair value gap, and I do want to take longs off of this, right? However, as you can see, this first candle that played out at 930, we wicked down so fast and so hard and immediately just shot up right after that. This was in a span of like 5 seconds we made this move. I know a lot of people who really got fucked. They really got screwed because of this wick that manipulated them down so fast, and we ended up just creating an upward trend off of that. Um, yeah, that this just was such a big point for people to get cooked on. Some people took this inverse, and they just got absolutely smoked. This candle moved way too fast. That's why I usually like to wait till 9:30 or a manipulation from 9:30 in order to take a trade. Because if we are trying to trade pre-market, we are trying to trade pre-market gaps. What can end up happening? This exactly, right? You could see, oh, we closed above this. However, we instantly would get stopped out. If you didn't have a stop loss here, you would have been cooked. If you did, you would have instantly got stopped out of your trade. That's why I like to wait for 9:30 to actually have that manipulation, then take a trade off that instead of trading pre-market. So that ends up happening, and there is no entry, right? If we're looking at the 1 minute, 30 second, there's just absolutely no entry. And if we just keep on playing forward, we can see we literally just take out that buy side liquidity almost instantly. Now, this was our main target for the day. This is the main draw. We really didn't have anything higher than this. So now that that was taken out, what can we look for? We have to look for our next draw. And if we're going on the 4 hour time frame, just be on a higher time frame bias, or sorry, on a higher time frame basis, we literally have no draws whatsoever until like back in February, right? So we had this 4 hour fair value gap that we were trading inside of, so that could have been a sign of bearish movement. However, we were just so bullish and we were like printing so heavily that even though we are trading in this 4 hour, it is so obvious we are just going to displace through this. And now one of the next things I'm looking for is this intermediate high in this 4 hour gap, right? Now this is still far away, 300 points away. At the time I'm recording this video, it is 9 p.m. and we did hitting this gap, which is exactly what I wanted to see price do. So if you would have held longs up into that, that was a fantastic play. Obviously, I'm a day trader and I'm not really holding positions for 12 hours. So that just wasn't me. However, this is what I wanted to see price go to, and we ended up going to that. But that's just another topic. But now after seeing this, what am I looking for? I'm still incredibly bullish. We still have no signs that price wants to reverse, price wants to go down. So I just want to see us maybe take a continuation long, either come up, keep pumping up, and then either come down, create a 15-minute or 5-minute gap, tap back into it, and then take this high, and that would be our long, right? It's very important that you paint a picture and you paint a narrative of what you want to see happen. What do I want to see happen? Of a continuation long. Either we're going to come back down here and take this long back up, even though we already took out this high, so it could be protected high. That's something else. But I would want to see us come up, form a higher time frame gap, have a candle tap back into it, and then take out this buy side liquidity, right? It's so important that you paint a picture, you write the narrative, and you actually plan out the trade you're taking before it happens. That's how you have the highest win rate. Now, if we fast forward a little bit, we just keep printing upwards, right? Like that's all we do. We're just printing, printing, printing. And what I want you to notice here is we ended up creating this 15-minute fair value gap. And what ends up happening, we end up tapping back into it. And now this is the next draw I'm going to be looking for. So once we were right here, this was our 830 wick that got taken out. And right here, we formed a new 15-minute fair value gap. Now, when price comes down and we tap into this gap, or sorry, when price is starting to come down from the next 15-minute candle that's forming, I want to see us tap into this. And this is our new data high. This is our new draw on liquidity. So this point right here is exactly where I want to see price go to after we tap down. Now, let me just delete this right quick. I'm just going to mark this out with this tool so it's a lot easier to read. Sorry about that. All right, so on the 1 minute time frame, what can we see? We had that 15-minute gap, and what ends up happening, we ended up finally trading through and we ended up hitting it, right? Now I established that this point right here was our next draw on liquidity, and we formed equal highs, which is an even stronger draw, proving that we want to go to this after being incredibly bullish, right? Look at all these fair value gaps. All these bullish ones are getting completely respected, even on the 5 and 15-minute. We have no signs of downward movement, so I want to see this point get hit. Now, we ended up tracing down here, and what do I want to look for? An inversion. However, I'm on the 1 minute, and there's no inversion. I'm on the 30-second, and there's no inversion. But if we go to the 15-second, what do we end up forming? We end up forming this 15-second inversion, right? Now, a lot of you might be thinking, oh, you're taking a 15-second inversion. That doesn't even make sense. The probability of that is so low. Yes, but no, not really, right? When it was so, when it is so obvious that we are bullish and we want to continue this, and we finally get confirmation after tapping into a newly formed 15-minute fair value gap. As you can see, we had that gap right here, and we tapped into it right at this point, which was where that 15-second inversion was. This is all the confirmation in the world I need to see price go up. We formed that inversion right here, and the next candle closed beautifully above it. Now, in this case, I literally just put my profit tool, my long position. This wick right here, I was using as a rejection block. There was also a 2-minute inversion, which I'm going to go over after, but I had this as my stop loss, and I targeted the relative equal highs or that new draw on liquidity, which I was talking about right there. And if we see this play out, what ends up happening, we just completely run through TP and hit that trade. This is an absolutely beautiful setup. It was a 15-second inversion, which I know a lot of you think is very risky and stupid. However, when you build enough discretion in the markets from just trading for a long time, and you have conviction that price wants to reach your certain draw on liquidity, then this is a perfectly acceptable trade to take. And this is what I took, and it ended up playing perfect. Now, if you did not want to take a 15-second, there was, I believe, a 2-minute. But what I want to go over is the RR difference in the 15-second versus 2RR, right? With this RR, it was a 3.35 RR trade. Now, if we go to the 2-minute, I believe, yeah, right here, we formed this inversion. And if we were to enter off of this, we had our enter tool here, and we were using the bottom of this um, candle, this is a 1.3, right? And this ends up playing out perfectly too. But just look at this risk reward ratio. Obviously, you're going to have more confirmation when you're taking this 2 minute, but you are trading in such a premium. And that is something I really do not like to do when I trade. I am more, I am most of the time going to be taking trades when I'm in a discount of a range compared to a premium. And if we are looking at this range from this top of our draw to this 15 minute, we can clearly see we are above the equilibrium and we are trading well above that. And that just means our risk reward ratio is going to be very just trash. And if we go back to the 15 second, we can literally see the difference of our entry point, which is from here. And this is just spectacular. This is amazing. This is so much of a better trade in my opinion. Yes, it wasn't a high time frame inversion. However, sometimes you don't need to wait for that high time inversion when you have, or sorry, you don't have to wait for that higher time frame inversion when you have such conviction and discretion that price is going to reach out, draw on liquidity, and continue bullish. And that's exactly what I did. Our risk reward ratio and return on this was so much greater than if we would have waited for this 2 minute. However, if you either, number one, don't have access to the 15 second, number two, just don't really trust trades taken on such a low time frame, or number three, just didn't even see it and didn't even care to look at the 15 second and just saw this 2 minute, this was still a fine trade. I would have taken this too if this 15 second wasn't there, and it played out. It was a win for both of us. It was a win for the 15 second and it was a win for the 2 minute. And it's honestly, this trade is just an example of how simple trading really is and how important it is to build your story. What did I say I wanted to see at market open? We have our 830 data high. This point is where I want to see price hit. This is our main draw on liquidity for the day. And immediately at 9:30, we took this out at 9:32. This was a minute and a half into market opening. We took out our main draw. This would have been an A plus trade right here if we would have gotten an inversion. However, we didn't get a 1 minute, 30 second, 15 second, or any sort of inversion. Price wicked down immediately and skyrocketed up. This would have been an amazing setup if we got an entry. However, we just didn't. Now, in that case, when this draw is taken, what do we want to look for? We want to look for the next thing. And what is that in this case? We ended up forming that 15-minute fair value gap. And the next candle, we want to see tap back into this bullish fair value gap and take a long to our new draw on liquidity, which was that high. We created relative equal highs right here. We came back down. We just retraced into the gap and took a long off of that. It is as simple as that. It cannot get more A plus than this. Everything was just perfect about this trade. I really have no other words but to say it was that simple and that easy. And I will go ahead and turn on executions. And they're not showing for some reason. I don't know. They're not showing, but I post them on my trading Discord in my win section and on my Instagram story. I have no reason to lie to you about taking this trade. This is exactly what I took. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That pretty much sums it up. Oh, what I also forgot to mention was this SMT that we formed, right? As we can see on NQ, we ended up taking this low, and on ES, if I can go to it, you can clearly see we did not end up taking that low. So we had a bullish SMT in place with this 15 second, and that is all the conviction in the world that you need to take this long. That's exactly what was going through my head, and that's exactly why I took it. And yeah, that's pretty much the whole trade. So that sums up the video. I know this video is very one take style like. It is late and I'm just trying to get it out to you as fast as I can. So sorry about that if the explanation wasn't too good. Usually it'll be a lot better and a lot more edited. However, it's late and I want to get this video out to you guys, showing you that I'm posting all of my trade recaps on the daily, because that's what I am doing, to try to provide you all this sauce for absolutely free. And yeah, if you haven't joined my trading Discord, go ahead and join it. We just launched today. We're trying to build this amazing community. And I know in a few months' time, we are going to have such a great community. Discord server is going to be thriving. It's going to be live. It's going to be a good time. Everyone's going to be hitting dubs. Great P&Ls. Just it's going to be a good ass server, bro. I'm so excited for what the future has and holds for us. And yeah, that's pretty much it. 9:36. I'm going to get this out as fast as I can to you. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.